Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has now been out for 1 week, so I thought I'd just take a couple of minutes and give some of my more in-depth thoughts about the movie, some of my likes, some of my dislikes, and just take a really good analytic look at this film. So overall, I enjoyed the film. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2022, and it was one of the movies I looked forward to most in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think Spider-Man No Way Home beat it out just a little bit. I still really enjoyed this film, and I was really looking forward to it. And honestly, it didn't disappoint. I thought it was funny. I thought it was enjoyable to watch. I thought that there were really good action scenes. I thought that the acting was amazing. And so let's talk about the cast for a second. Title character, Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch. I have loved seeing where he's taken this character. I have really grown to love the way that he portrays Doctor Strange, therefore making Doctor Strange now one of my most enjoyed and one of my favorite characters in the MCU. One of my favorite superheroes now. So Benedict had a lot to do in this movie, and if you haven't seen the movie, it shouldn't be a surprise that he was going to play multiple versions of himself, and I think he did great. You know, Benedict Cumberbatch is a very versatile actor, and he really goes all in for each role that he takes on, and I enjoy that about him. He really found the connecting pieces of Doctor Strange and the multiple versions, but he added these extra little differences and in how he acted for the different versions of Strange. And I really, really respect that, and I love that he did that. It was a very smart way to approach the character, to portray what was written. And let's talk about the co-lead for a second, Elizabeth Olsen. Wow. You know, she was really a big star in this movie, and WandaVision was really the first time that she got to take front stage for the Marvel Universe. And so this was another opportunity to continue that kind of attention for her character. And she, again, spoilers if you've not watched the movie. So if you haven't watched the movie, stop now, go watch it, come back and watch. So Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda in this movie is creepy and twisted, and I love it. You can just tell that she has lost so much and that she's been through such trauma in her life that she's not evil, really. She's not evil at heart. She's just had so much happen to her that it's caused her to break. And Elizabeth really brings that out. And I just have such respect for her as an actor, and she really has made this character her own, especially after the attention from WandaVision and really diving into the character alone. It's allowed to break that down. So she did really great there, and playing multiple versions of herself, where in these other universes, she's the ideal mom. She's just kind and soft and wanting to protect her children and defend them. And she wants to help Wanda, in the end, wants to help Wanda of the main universe get back to that point. And she wants her to know that her kids are going to be taken care of. And so Elizabeth really, again, kind of like with Benedict, she brings these little subtleties in how she plays these different versions of Wanda. Even if they're not crazy different versions, they're different from the main version that we're watching that really is driving the plot of this movie. So again, fantastic co-leads in this movie, being Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen, both fantastic. Now, let's talk about some of the other leads and some of the other actors in this movie. Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez really did great. I'm not familiar with her work, and so this is the first thing that I watched her in, and I really liked her in this role. I think she's going to be a really good addition to the MCU. Benedict Wong is always funny and great to watch on screen. I really like him as Wong. He's a lot of fun. And I like the joke where they keep kind of putting it in Strange's face that he's not the Sorcerer Supreme and Wong is. And it's just kind of a funny running joke throughout Spider-Man No Way Home and now into this movie. Now let's talk about the action for a minute. The visuals in this movie were not quite as trippy or as fantastical or out there as they were maybe in the first Doctor Strange movie. It was interesting though because I think Sam Raimi took the action and the coordination of the fights in a really cool direction. I think there was just a lot more to do, and everyone, being Wong, Strange, Scarlet Witch, everyone was just moving around so much, and it was very dynamic fight scenes, and I loved that. And there was a lot of great fight scenes in the first Doctor Strange, and Sam Raimi just kind of took that to the next level with this, and you get that idea, not with just how everyone in the shot is moving, but you also get that through how the camera's moving. It's very, very dynamic, and it's just so much fun, and you really sometimes feel like you're in the action. You feel like you're in the movie with that first-person point of view, and it's just, in some cases, makes it really creepy and kind of eerie, but in other cases, it makes it really fun to watch. And so I loved that. It was, again, very dynamic and a very unique way to watch. And this movie was really interesting because it goes with Spider-Man No Way Home as being filmed mainly during the time of COVID. And I was really impressed with how they handled that. You know, it feels like a movie still. It really doesn't feel like, to me, that it was just done all on a green screen and a blue screen and added a bunch of CGI backgrounds with actors by themselves. To me, it looked like they were on sets and everyone was together, but they handled all that just really, really well. Now let's talk about a few of the things that maybe held the movie back just a little bit. It sometimes can feel like the movie is kind of split into two. And in the beginning, it's general MCU with a little bit of Sam Raimi twist, but the back half, especially in that final battle, it's very Sam Raimi. Now, I'm not very familiar with Sam Raimi's work outside of Spider-Man, but I could tell that second half of the movie was very distinct and unique. And so you get that feeling, just that almost you're watching a slightly different movie. But it didn't take me out of the experience. I still enjoyed it. It was not a big problem for me. It was just an observation. And so just something to watch out for. And I think another thing that held the movie back for me personally was not the length, because after I'd watched the movie, my concern about it being just under 2 hours was gone. And it was an efficient and satisfying movie for 2 hours, and because I was a little nervous about it beforehand, but then once I watched it, I was happy. The only thing that I would maybe hope was an extra 5 to 10 minutes just to close things out a little more at the end, make things a little clearer as far as Wanda and Strange and America Chavez, just where their stories have ended for this film and maybe where they're going for the future, and just kind of again tying that together at the end. And going back to the beginning, it feels like Wanda just flipped a switch and was all of a sudden evil once she was talking to Doctor Strange and he called her out on something. She, again, just kind of snapped, no pun intended, for Infinity War. But then I realized with time that it makes a little more sense once you bring the context of WandaVision into it. And again, it makes more sense and you understand better. So again, once I realized that, I was a little more okay with that. But sometimes with someone who doesn't watch all of the MCU, that can be kind of hard for them to not really understand what's going on and why she's evil. It's just, oh, she's evil. I thought she was a good guy, but okay, I guess she's evil now. So just a couple of small things really that didn't make Multiverse of Madness quite number one, but again, still really enjoyed it. Now let's talk about those sweet, sweet cameos. I think a lot of people for this movie expected just cameos every couple of minutes. Alternate versions from the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and different versions of even MCU characters. And so I think a lot of people were disappointed by that because that didn't happen. There was really just a short period of time in the movie where it was a few cameos, and interestingly enough, that was totally satisfactory to me. I went into it thinking they were going to do a lot, but was happy with what was there, especially because if you know, you know. And that just meant a lot to me. There was one particular cameo and one particular character that meant a lot to me personally, and so that was really all I needed. And the rest of them were really smart cameos, I think. They were smart alternate versions of characters. There was Captain Marvel, but it's not Captain Marvel. There was Captain Carter. I don't think that was going to be a big surprise, and she was great. I really enjoyed Haley Atwell as Captain Carter in the live action, and I hope that they continue her story in different universes because of something that happens in this movie. There was Black Bolt, and I didn't get to watch the Inhumans show, but I knew who he was. And of course, Charles Xavier, not from the X-Men movies, but Charles Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart. And we all knew that was coming because they put it in the trailers, so that was no surprise. And like I said, the cameos I think were just handled really well. The additional characters, it made sense, and I loved it. Just to wrap things up, the main purpose of this channel is to talk about how movies are made and how something like the MCU is really special in that it's one giant story being told in smaller pieces. And this movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, is a great example of that. We have Doctor Strange's story from his first movie and Infinity War and Endgame. We have the Scarlet Witch's story from WandaVision and Infinity War and Endgame. And we have just these multiple stories and plot lines coming together into one combined story. So that was handled really well, I thought. And it was able to progress these characters, and I really enjoyed that. So really this movie is a continuation of WandaVision, and she really starts the plot of this movie by wanting her kids back. And so she's doing everything she can to make that possible. And that includes, unfortunately, turning to some dark magic and some less superhero methods. And Doctor Strange is then reactionary to that, and he's our protagonist, making that impossible for her, really. Trying to help her understand that she can't do what she's doing and let it be okay. It's not okay for her to do that in the way that she's doing it. So really, really well done in that way. I thought this movie was smart. I thought it was funny, and I think it's worth checking out if you're a fan of the MCU. And really, this could be high up there on my ranking list. So we'll see if I might do one of those soon, now that Doctor Strange is out and Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be out soon. So let me know if you want to see a ranking of my Marvel movies, and tell me what else you want to see on this channel. And that's going to be it for me today. So remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at beyond.thefilm, and I hope to see you beyond.